Hello, my dear YouTube students. Welcome to my channel. Today in this video, we are going to learn a lesson of class 8, that is the boy who sold wisdom. Okay, wisdom means knowledge. You all know it. So the boy who sold wisdom. So this is the lesson. So let us read and understand it. It sounds so interesting. So stay tuned till end and watch the entire video. And if you're watching my video, students, for the first time, do subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon so that you get the notifications of all the upcoming videos. And do watch the video till end. And if you like it, do hit the like button and also share it with your friends. So let's move ahead. And there's a good news for you all that we have come up with the Scorpio class in the channel. And this channel, you are going to find Hindi lessons on explanation of all the lessons, question and answer videos of the class 8, 9 and 10 standards. So quickly go to the description box and find the link and subscribe to Scorpio class in the channel and share with your friends. Also, we will also find the link in the I button above, so you can directly get the link from above. Okay. So now quickly let's move ahead with our chapter. So it sounds very interesting. So let's see. So there is a boy by name Nagendra. Nagendra was orphaned and found himself without a job. He was clever and he had learned many things by observing his father. Okay, so here Nagendra, he was an orphan who had no parents and he found that he was without a job. So he was very helpless. Now he was very clever and he learned many things by observing his father. When his father was alive, he used to observe him, what he's doing and how is he working. And like that, he learned many things. Now, one day he had a brilliant idea. He went into a town and hired the smallest and cheapest place he could find and set up a shop. So now he had an idea to set up a small shop for him and it would be in the cheapest place. Means within less amount he would get a shop. So he found out. Now he spent a few nickel coins he had on paper, ink and a pen. So what did he spend now in the shop? He spent few nickel coins, few coins which he had with him. He took one some paper, ink and pen. And over his shop, he put a placard. As you know, the cards and the banners are put about the shop's name. So in that way, he wrote on a paper with the ink and pen and he put a placard near his shop. And that shop said wisdom for sale. That means what was he selling in the shop? He was selling wisdom. That is knowledge. Now, everyone would be thinking, what is this that he is selling knowledge? How can anybody sell knowledge? So let's see what happens then. All around him were merchants who had large shops. They sold clothes, jewelry, fruits, vegetables, and things that people bought every day. So, in and around him, there were many big shops and there were big merchants. They used to sell clothes, jewelry, fruits, vegetables, and so many different things. So, Nagendra called out all kinds of wisdom for sale, reasonable prices. The people who had come to buy things could not see anything in his shop, but could only hear the words he was shouting. So when you go in the market, you know all the market keep shopkeepers they keep shouting about their products what they have. So in a similar way, Nagendra also shouted that all kinds of wisdom for sale and it's for very reasonable prices. You will get it in very few price. So people who had come to buy different things in the shop, they looked at him at the shop of Nagendra, but they could not see anything in his shop. They could only hear his words, what he was saying. They crowded around and laughed at him. No one bought even one piece of wisdom from him, but he was patient. So people crowded near his shop, saw him, and laughed at him that what he is selling. He is selling knowledge. And no one took any piece of wisdom from him. But he waited. He was having patience with him. He did not lose hope. Now one day, Babu, a rich merchant's son, happened to pass by and heard the wisdom seller hawking his wares. Wisdom, wisdom of all kinds. He was a stupid boy. He did not know what was really being sold. He thought it was a vegetable or a thing he could hold in his hand. So he asked Nagendra what it would cost per kg. Nagendra said, I do not sell wisdom by weight, I sell it by quality. So students here one day a rich merchant's son whose name was Babu. He was passing by the shop of this Nagendra. Now, when he heard this, that he is selling wisdom of all kinds, he thought, let me go and see what he is selling, let me purchase it. And he was a stupid boy, he was not intelligent. He thought it is something like a vegetable or something which he could carry in his hand and take and go away. So he went to his shop, he asked Nagendra that how much it would cost for per kg. So Nagendra said, I do not sell my wisdom through weight, but I sell it by quality. The quality of wisdom I sell will have the more price, like that. Now Babu put down a nickel and asked Nagendra to give him a nickel's worth of wisdom. The boy took out a piece of paper and wrote on it, it is not wise to stand and watch two people fighting. And he asked Babu to keep it tied in his turban cloth. So, what did Babu do? He wanted to buy a wisdom. So, he put down a nickel, a coin. Okay. Now, it may be of whatever value the coin would be. He asked Nagendra that whatever wisdom comes is in this amount within this coin and nickel, give it to me. So, the boy, he took out a piece of paper, he wrote wisdom on it. And what he wrote? He wrote, it is not wise to stand and watch two people fighting. So, this was a knowledge which he was sharing with him, like it's not good to stand and see if two people are fighting over there. And he gave this wisdom to Babu in a piece of paper. He said him to tie it in his turban cloth. Turban means the cloth which he was wearing on his head. So he said you can tie it on it and keep it safely. Now Babu went home and showed his father what he had bought. He said, I bought some wisdom for a nickel, and I have it there, tied up inside the turban cloth. The father untied the knot, looked at the scrap of paper, and read what was written on it. It is not wise to stand and watch two people fighting. So what happened? Babu went home. He showed to his father very happily that I have bought something, and I have bought a nickel, a wisdom for a nickel, and I have kept that in my turban. It is tied there. Father quickly he unties the knot, removes that scrap of paper, a piece of paper, and says what is written on it. So he read it. It is not wise to stand and watch two people fighting. So after reading this, he was furious. He screamed at his son, you fool, paying a nickel for this nonsense? Everyone knows you should not stand and watch two people fighting. Then he went to the marketplace and stormed into Nagendra's shop and scolded him soundly. Okay, so what happened? The father got very angry, very furious. He shouted at his son and he said, you fool, you are paying money for this? Everybody knows that you should not stand and watch two people when they are fighting. Then again, he got up, he went to the market very angrily and entered into Nagendra's shop and started scolding him. Now he says, you scoundrel, you have cheated my son. He is a fool and you are a cheat. Return the nickel or else I'll call the police. So that father, he went to the Nagendra shop, he shouted at him that you have cheated my son. He is one fool and you are a cheater. You have cheated him. You have to return the nickel, the coin, or else I'll call the police. So Nagendra said, if you don't want my goods, you can return it. Give me back my wisdom and you can have your money back. Gupta, the merchant, threw the scrap of paper at the boy and said, there, now give me back my money. Nagendra said, no, you have not given me back my wisdom. You have only returned the paper. If you want your money back, you will have to sign a document saying that your son will never use my advice and that he will always stand and watch people fighting. Okay, so very cleverly Nagendra handled the situation. He said, okay, you return my wisdom. I'll give you your money if you want it. So Gupta, the merchant, that is father of Babu, he gave back the scrap of paper. He threw it on boy's face and he took the money back. But Nagendra said, no, but you have just given me you have given me a piece of paper. You have not returned my wisdom, my knowledge, what I have given you. For that, you will have to sign a document, and where you will say you will agree that whenever two people are fighting, your son will stand and watch that fighting. Okay, so this he has to do. He don't have to use my advice, my wisdom, what I have said, because you are returning back to me. So what would have happened? You can just imagine. Okay, so let's move ahead. So the passerby supported Nagendra. So Gupta readily signed the document and took his money. He was happy that it had been easy to undo his son's foolish bargain. So Gupta was happy that he got his money back, and whatever money was wasted by his foolish son, he got it back. Okay. Now, a few days passed. The king of that land had two queens who hated each other. So did their maids. They quarreled as bitterly as their mistresses. So there was a king of that particular land where Babu and Nagendra were living, and that king had two queens. But both the queens fighted with each other. They hated with each other, and they always were in fighting. And so were their mates, their servants. Okay, even they used to quarrel with each other. Now, one day each queen sent her maid to the market. The maids went to the same shop and both wanted to buy same pumpkin. There was only one pumpkin, so they began to quarrel. Their abuses and gestures were so fierce that the grocer fled the place. Okay, so as we saw that the maids, that the servants of the queens were fighting, for each and every matter. Now, one day, what happened when they went to the market to buy a pumpkin? They both went to same shop, and there was only one pumpkin, and both of them wanted the same one pumpkin for themselves. And they started fighting, and the fighting grew so bigger and so fierce that the grocer, that shopkeeper, he left the place and went away from there. The Babu, who had happened to be nearby, remembered his father's contract with Nagendra and went there to watch the quarrel. So think that Nagendra's advice it was returned back, and Babu had to stand and see two persons fight. So he went there to stand and watch the quarrel of these two mates. Now the mates fought, tore each other's hair, and came to blows. One of the mates noticed the merchant's son and said, "You be my witness." She struck me. The other mate cried, "You have seen with your own eyes who struck whom. You're my witness. She has hit me so many times." Then they remembered other errands and went their ways. So both of the mates were fighting and quarreling, and this Babu he was standing and looking at them. So one of the mates said, "You be my eyewitness, and you have to say that yes, she struck me first, she beat me first." And the other mate cried, "No, no, you have seen me, you have seen with the eyes who has struck whom first. So you be my witness." So like this, they fought and they quarreled, and then they went their own ways. Now, after going home, both the maids said to the queens that they had quarreled and all sorts of colorful details. Like they made all mirch masala in that, and they gave the whole complaint to the queen. Now, queens were very angry and they sent a complaint to the king. Now, each of them sent word to Babu that he was the witness on her side. No, both of them said, "No, we have witness with us that who has struck whom first, and it's his name is Babu." So both of them called Babu to be a witness for them. And if he did not speak in support, then his head would be chopped off by the king. That was the uh, order over there. No, Babu was in panic. He got so afraid. Even his father was so afraid. What to do now? They were in tension now. Finally, the son said, "Let's go and ask Nagendra because it was his wisdom and he has many wisdom to share with him. Let's see what he says." So father and son went to Nagendra, who said he would help, but the fee would be 500 rupees. So Nagendra was ready to help, but he would sell this wisdom for 500 rupees now. So Gupta paid the money, and Nagendra said that when they call you to the court, pretend to be insane. Behave as if you understand nothing of what they say. So he said him to act like a mad person. Insane means one who is not mentally fit. Okay. So he said, if you behave like that, they will not consider or ask you anything and they will leave you. So he was happy and he went from there. Next day, when the king called witness and when the ministers asked various questions to Babu, he did not answer at all. And whenever he opened his mouth to speak something, he just said all nonsense things and all nonsense syllables. And King lost his patience. He got angry and he sent him out of the courtroom. Now he was so happy that he is safe and he was not in a problem like to become whose witness. Now he told everyone about Nagendra's great wisdom and it became a good buzzword in the marketplace. He became very famous in the marketplace that he has very good wisdom with him and he saves people with it. Now Gupta was not pleased. He saw that his son would have feigned madness always, or else the king would find out he had been tricked. Now father was not happy with this because he thought, now my boy will have to be like a mad person each and every time. Or else if the king comes to know that he was acting or he was tricking me on that day, he will again become angry and chop off his head. So again he went to Nagendra for more wisdom. Now again he paid 500 rupees, and Nagendra advised that go back to the king when he is in a good mood and tell him the whole story, and he will find it amusing and he will forgive you. So now they just look for a chance when the king was very in a very good mood and he was in laughter mood, and they told them everything, the whole story, and the king started laughing and he at last forgave him. So now he was saved in the this manner also. Now then the king, who was intrigued by what he had heard of Nagendra in the market, sent for him and asked if he had any more wisdom to sell. So now King was also very happy. Like, who gave you this wisdom? When he came to know about Nagendra, he asked him whether do you have any more wisdom with you? The boy said, yes, I have plenty of it, but now my fee will be lakh and thousands of rupees. So the king paid him 100,000 rupees, and he got a piece of paper in which the wisdom had written. And it was written, think deeply before you do anything. Okay, so this was the message, this was the wisdom given to king for 100,000 rupees. The king was so happy with that advice that he made this sentence, this wisdom as his motto. Like everywhere he started writing this sentence. He made it embroidered in his pillow, on his cups, on his plates, and whatever thing he had in his palace, so that he should not forget that advice. Now, some months later, King fell ill, and the minister and one of the queens had been conspiring to get rid of him. So, one of the minister and one of the queen wanted to kill him. Okay, so what they did, they bribed the doctor. They gave some extra money, corrupted, bribed the doctor, and said him to give poison in the king's medicine. Now, when the medicine was bought and given to the king, he lifted that golden cup to his lips and he started reading the words which was engraved on it. He started thinking about that. Think deeply before you do anything. And he was, without suspecting anything, he did not have any idea that the medicine had a poison in it. But he was just reading the sentence, the advice which he had engrossed in it, and he lowered the cup. He kept the cup down, and again he was saying and looking at the medicine in it. The doctor was watching all this. He was sitting there and he was saying, why the king is not eating the medicine? And he thought that king has come to know that there is poison in it. And he felt very nervous. And the doctor threw himself at his feet. He thought now the king is going to guess it and he's going to kill me. So quickly he just went into his feet and confessed. He asked sorry for him and asked to forgive him. But the king ordered that the doctor should be arrested. And then he called minister and the queen who had bribed him, who wanted to kill the king. And even they just started, even they were asked first to drink the same medicine from that cup. But they again fell onto the feet of the king, and even they begged for the mercy. They asked sorry and they asked for forgiveness. But he ordered them to be hanged. He ordered that the minister and the queen should be hanged, and the doctor was removed from the kingdom. And then he made Nagendra as his minister and honored him with much more wealth, and he became a wealthy person because first he was a jobless person with his clever ideas. Observing his father, he started selling wisdom, and it was liked by king, and it saved his life. So he made him as his minister in his court and honored him, gave him much of the wealth in his court. So this is the story and it gets over here. So I hope you like the story how Nagendra became the minister of the king and he was honored with many wealth. So with this we come to the end of the lesson and the video. I hope you understood the lesson and liked the video. If you liked it, do hit the like button and share it with your friends. And stay tuned for more such videos. Thank you.